Greetings, friends. Hello. It's welcome to Fireside Songs. Some side farms. No, let me say that again. It's going well so far, isn't it? Welcome to Fireside Songs. Got my guitar. I've got an announcement to make. I put it here in big letters so I wouldn't forget it. All is well. And you may have noticed we got a fire and in the backyard. So, like you, I'm at home and we've managed to create a fireside experience. So thank you very much for joining me. Usually I'm able to read comments. In fact, I might just to make sure it's working properly, because this really is a first thing for me. I'll just grab my Facebook machine and I'll just check to see if we are on a live situation, and then that way I can make sure you're all watching. Ah, look. Well, there you go. So does that mean it starts when I'm on now, or if I press that button? Doesn't do anything. I was hoping I'd be able to see your comments, but oh no, there it is. Oh, hang on, I'll turn it down. Oh, yeah. So it's a bit delayed, so I'll turn the sound off, and I should be able to see your comments. Do I have to turn that way? Swipe left. Which way is that? That way? Oh, there you are. Andrew Walkington. Megan. Hello. Hello, Elizabeth. Watching from Mount... You say Helena or Helena? Anyway, and it sounds like I'm live. It's looking good. We just wanted to make sure that it was working. So, anyway, this is Fireside Songs, where Colin reads his iPad. Great. Excuse me while I put it down. And I just activated Siri too, so that's going to interrupt things.
I don't know what that means. If you like, I can't search the web for... I just activated.
Cancel. Siri. You know Siri's a machine, not a real person. All right, let's start with a song. This feels like a great spot to say, well, I'm just a songwriter working my trade. I carry a swag full of tunes that I've made, and if you've got the time, I'll sing you a song. You are red dirt meeting ocean. You are harbor in the dawn. You are Bondi's rolling breakers. Across the oceans you call me home. You are gum trees, cicada symphonies. You're the master on the Pentecost. You are Cakadoos, summer thunder, a dreaming place under the Southern Cross. So who'll come waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda with me? Who'll come waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda with me? You're the campfire by the river gums. You're the convict and the refugee. You're the bush kid from Kapunda, South Australia, on the beaches of Gallipoli. And you're the battler and you're fair income. You are old mate's wrinkled smile. And you're a mother calling her children. You're a Koori lullaby. So who'll come a waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda with me? Who'll come a waltzing Matilda, Waltzing Matilda with me. Waltzing Matilda with me. Who will come waltzing Matilda? I think there's a few people coming waltzing Matilda tonight, which is really precious. I went waltzing Matilda in 1988. My wife and I went to live in a little Christian community out the back of Burke, and that's where my adventure into music started. I really wasn't expecting to have a career in music. I thought I was going to be a teacher for the rest of my life. Well, maybe that wasn't altogether too far from the truth, but we went to live in Cornerstone Community, a little Christian community out the back of Burke, and that's where songs started to spark up for me. And so I was pretty thrilled when some years later I was able to record some of those songs, and my friends, especially at 2WEB, the legendary radio station in Burke. Now we're talking outback, for those international viewers, we're talking outback New South Wales, a town with a population of maybe, 1,500 now? Around that, 2,000? But right there in the red dirt country of Australia. And I wrote a song for Di Tyson, Dear Di, the late Di Tyson, and that became my first single. And they were so chuffed at 2WEB, they played it. And May played it. She's got her own show, and 2WEB broadcast to right across an area 6 times the size of areas only a sixth of that size. And, I mean, twice the size of Great Britain, I think it is, or something like that, 3 times. So, although that wouldn't be hard. So, anyway, end of story. I wrote the song, May played it. Now, May, community broadcast, my first single was released on vinyl. And so she brought the record in, put it on, broadcast across this massive area, thought, it's 3.5 minutes long. I'll pop out and I'll make myself a cuppa. So she did. And let me explain what happened. I'll start the song as per normal. It's called Galahs In The Gidgee. Now a galah is a parrot native to Australia. Gidgee is the desert acacia tree. And the shearers rouse about stockmen and jackaroos. There's cockies and squatters, swaggies with nothing to lose. Ridden and driven and trod these tracks, they calloused their hands and bent their backs. There's some river yarns to spin if you could spare a minute of your time. Galahs in the Gidgee, Who's on the plains, bruising the table, drains in a rugged land. Galahs in the Gidgee, they watch this country grow. I reckon they'd tell some stories if they could. Okay, right in the middle of the song, because it's an old vinyl album, it's got a scratch in it. May is out of the studio. She doesn't know that in an area 6 times the size of Great Britain, my first single is playing like this. Galahs in the Galahs, Galahs in the Galahs, Galahs, Galahs. She doesn't realise until someone rings up from Tibooburra and says, May, can you go and check the record? It's skipping. And so she races in, and she says, sorry everyone, something's gone wrong there with Cole's new album, Albin, so we better put on another song of his. So she put on this song, another Burke song, written at the Burke local show. You got rams and jams, bulls and biscuits, crafts and cattle, sheep and shortbread, brought before the Stewart's gaze, stock and produce, craft displays. It's a day when people have a go, it's a local district show. There's a Coopers, moleskins, ties and tinnies, trade and pleasure, booze and business. All the experts round the bar tell you where the best sheep are. Yep. From Humblebone or Old Ash Rose, you find a man who knows. Once a year from all around, they all go down to the showground. Some just look and some compete. Well, for some it's just a chance to meet. But the kids will walk you off your feet. Everyone will go to the local district show. Oh yeah, we got another one of Cole's great songs that he wrote. That's May again, making an announcement. Yeah, why don't we play that one about all the farm cars? What's it called again? Oh, that's right, farm cars. Well, what's that roar? Rattling and rumbling, got no door, but it doesn't seem to matter. Duke goes scratched, panels bent and dented, can't be matched. Those no frills, no brakes, gut thresher, paddock dasher, farm cars. What sight, giggling at sunrise, packed so tight, chippers hanging out the windows, oily smoke and there's no suspension. What a joke. Those overheating flat battery, gut thresher, paddock dasher, farm cars. They're looking like they're living on borrowed time. They sound just a little bit past their prime, but a job needs doing and they'll get it done. Those bull-tied, clapped-out, gut thresher, paddock basher, farm cars. All right, well, we enjoyed that on 2WEB, so why don't we give another one of Colin's songs a go? It's that one about the Wanaaring Road. If you head west beyond the Darling, near the corner country of New South Wales, you'll know you've struck the real Australia, when your wheels hit the Wanaaring Road. There's roos and pigs by the dozen, and every night they lie and wait. Your turn. Did you do it? They'll gladly cause some extra damage, just the boars. Compliments of the Wanaaring Road. Chorus. If you head west, ooh yeah, beyond the Darling, near the corner country of New South Wales, you'll know you've struck, oh yeah, the real Australia. When your wheels hit the Wanaaring Road. Whistle time. That is my first full whistle solo. Thank you very much. All right, enough of the Wanaaring Road. Back comes May and says, well, enough of that song. Wasn't quite sure where it was going, but I think we should try and get that first song on again that we were playing. His new single from 1993. Verse 3. Not too many of the old timers still around. There's another generation and they're walking that dusty ground. But there's still surprises out the back of Burke, and it still takes sweat and it takes hard work. There's still some ripper yarns if you could spare a minute of your time. Galahs in the Gidgee, on the plains, blues in the table drains in a rugged land. Galahs in the Gidgee, they watch this country grow. I reckon they'd tell some stories if they could. Yeah, I reckon they'd tell some stories if they could. Galahs in the Gidgee, Galahs in the Gidgee. Hey! Galahs In The Gidgee. Oh, thank you for letting me sing a couple of the songs that come from the very beginning of, well, not the very, very beginning of my musical journey, but the beginning of my professional musical life, and not knowing that was, I even had one. All right, I did worry a little bit that being out here in the weather, and it's a lovely mild night here tonight. Someone from Tassie, I said, "Oh, it might be a bit chilly outside," and someone from Tassie did send a message saying something along the lines of, "You want to know chilly, mate? You got a t-shirt on. Come down here, where we'll show you chilly." So decided probably wisest not to engage that gentleman, not knowing what might happen next time I go down to Tassie. All right, I want to sing a tune about some friends. That's Roxy the dog from next door. So this concert is going to have a little bit of everything. We're in suburbia, locked down. It's not a bad lockdown, I've got to say, this little spot. I might just throw a little bit of wood in the fire. If you'll just talk amongst yourselves for a tip. We want to keep it... we want to get what we call a veritable rager. And it's... that's it. On you go. Join the others. join the others. There we go. Look. That's it. Okay. Got to do your own fire stoking around here. All right, what was I going to do? Sunburnt Saints. One of the great... I grew a lot as a Christian person, and my wife did too, spending time in a Christian community for a year. But we also met some amazing people just in the community, and over the years met a lot of great Christian people who live in the bush, in the outback and in rural Australia. So this is a song about them, and perhaps I know we'll have lots of people joining us from regional areas, and which is wonderful. So this one's for you, people from the bush, the Sunburnt Saints. Well, good on you, Sister Carmel. Bless you, Sister Theo. You put 30 years of love into this little outback town. Oh, and I love the tales of going out like some boundary riding angels. That really put me off. Just a bit of contraction in the fire pit. It's live. To share some time with bush folk, to listen and to pray. Sunburnt Saints, godly pioneers, with a red dirt faith that rides the wild frontiers, with hope and light and life and love to bring. They follow in the footsteps of the King. Well, bless you, Reverend Ian, 'cause you bless me in that chapel. There's always just a handful, but you give them all you can. Beneath the peppercorn in Jericho, you point them to the Saviour. Walk amongst the distant ones with faithfulness and joy. Sunburnt Saints, godly pioneers, with a red dirt faith that rides the wild frontiers, with hope and light and life and love to bring. They follow in the footsteps of the King. Yeah, they follow Broken Hill and Grenfell and Cowra, in Longreach, in Griffith, in Kalgoorlie, up in Newman, and Lightning Ridge. Well, Bless you, Malcolm and Martha. Well, your little flock are grown now, but you loved and nurtured each of them in your strong and tender way. And I've shared the precious fellowship through the gates of Lodi Bar, chili and tortillas, the warm embrace of faith. Sunbird Saints, godly pioneers with red dirt faith that rides the wild frontier. Sunburnt Saints, godly pioneers with a red dirt faith that rides the wild frontiers, with hope and light and life and love to bring. They got hope and light and life and love to bring. Oh, there's hope and light and life and love to bring, as they follow in the footsteps of the King. The footsteps of the King. I just had this lovely snapshot of some of those Sunbird Saints rolling through my mind there, and sort of Les and Dot, they're Sunburnt Saints out in Canoundra in the central west of New South Wales. Alright, one of the Sunburnt Saints, I'm going to sing a song for him now. The little Christian community that we lived in had a lot of visitors would come, and a lot of family would come and visit. I mean, Burke, it's not a place that generally you pass through, or maybe a lot of people would rather pass through Burke, but Burke has this quality where if you spend a little bit of time, you discover something quite magical and wonderful there, about the land and about the people. And Kurrajong Bill came and visited his daughter, Claire, who was spending time in the Christian community. Kurrajong was a Korean War veteran. He'd lived a troubled life after that, made a lot of mistakes, and it was difficult for his family, and he'd been a restless, broken soul. And he came through the gates there at Cornerstone at Pirabor, intending to stay for a short time. And he found these they're not a bad bunch, these Christians, but they're not the world's greatest maintenance people or handymen or women. So he strapped on the nail bag and started fixing things. And blow me down if 3 months later he was still there, fixing stuff up. And so they said, Bill, you going to stay? I think you should set yourself up there in the barn with a caravan. And so he did. And when we came to Burke, and he'd been there a few years by that stage, he had he was well encamped, and we were in the other end of the barn in our little caravan. So we got to know Bill, and one of the beautiful things that happened to Bill was as he spent time he was a blessing to the community because he was such great help, but he also encountered the love of the Lord Jesus there, and he became a Christian man. And a remarkable story of God putting a man back together. It was a long, slow process, and the song I'm about to sing will talk about that. But this is the song for Kurrajong, and I should tell you too that I'll tell the rest of the story partway through. I'm going to do two songs sort of together because I wrote two songs about Bill, and the first one is Carriage-On. In his annex made of Besser bricks and corrugated iron, I can hear the roar of footy on a Saturday afternoon. Kurrajong's got his slippers on. He sips a mug of coffee, and he's glad to share the game with a little company. And in his annex made of Besser bricks and corrugated iron, I hear snatches of a childhood back in Sydney years before. Kurrajong's got his slippers on now. Kurrajong carries his... No, that's not one. Kurrajong chuckles and shakes his head and lights himself a rollie. He's found himself a home now, and it's time to settle down. When the time comes, they can take me down the track to the clay pan and lay me by the windmill by the board. Don't let their tears cloud the changes of my final years. They can say, Kurrajong, you came a long, long way. His annex made of Besser bricks and corrugated iron, an old soldier reminisces about Korea and the war. Kurrajong carries his memories, his back still carries shrapnel. He fought bravely for his country, he might never have come back. When the time comes, they can take me down the track to the clay pan and lay me by the windmill by the board. Don't let their tears cloud the changes of my final years. They can say, Kurrajong, you came a long, long way. His annex made of Besser bricks and corrugated iron, I see Kurrajong fight a battle with a habit that won't die. But Kurrajong knows it won't be long, the battle will be over. He's not afraid to fight till then, and he's not afraid to die. When the time comes, they can take me down the track to the clay pan and lay me by the windmill by the board. Don't let their tears cloud the changes of my final years. They can say, Kurrajong, you came a long, long way, a long, long way. Kurrajong, you came a long, long way. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And then a few years later, well, not too long later, we've moved back to Sydney. Meanwhile, Kurrajong's still at Burrill, and one morning his daughter Claire says, "Oh, Harmony, Bill's granddaughter, has forgotten to take a pair of shoes to school, shoes that Bill had been fixing, like so much of the ramshackle stuff around the place in the community." So Bill said, "It's all right." Got on his old ag bike, fired it up, motorcycle, headed out the gate to take the shoes to Harmony. And just at that moment, a couple from Norway or Sweden or somewhere like that, somewhere where they drive on the other side of the road, they'd been out doing the farm work that so many backpackers and head out to the bush to do. And they were driving on the wrong side of the road. The sun was low in the morning. They didn't see Bill. And they collected him. And Bill died instantly, and not long after, they laid his mortal remains to rest by the windmill, by the bore. But probably a month before that happened, Bill had written us a letter, and I still have that letter. I love letters because they've got the fabric of your friends scratched into them. And this is the song that I wrote after finding that letter again when we lost Bill for a time. I was sifting through some letters in a shoebox. Came across a note from Pirabor. Recognized the writing in an instant, 'cause the old bloke isn't with us anymore. He said the North Burke Bridge had seen a lot of water. He said he should have written sooner, that's for sure. There were a lot of questions I never got to answer, because the old bloke isn't with us anymore. Was the Darling River flooding when he wrote it? Was the western winter whipping at his door? But I'm grateful that he sounded in good spirits, 'cause the old bloke isn't with us anymore. Da 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 da. So again I hold these bits of folded paper. Wonder what it is I keep them for. A flimsy, precious pen and ink connection to a bloke who isn't with us anymore. And was the Darling River flooding when he wrote it? Was the western winter whipping at his door? But I'm grateful that he sounded in good spirits, 'cause the old bloke isn't with us anymore. Da 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 da. Scratched out "go with God," then wrote "I love you both." And all our time he'd not said that before. But I'm glad that he could say it in a letter, our letter, 'cause the old bloke isn't with us anymore. As he rode out of the sunrise that bright morning, on a trip he'd made 1,000 times before, Kurrajong spun headlong into glory, and the old bloke wasn't with us anymore. Carriage-on spun headlong into glory. Oh, dear Currajong. Thank you for letting me sing my songs for you. I realised I took a while to tell a story there. look, while I'm at it, I won't tell a long story, but this is a song, and it's very hard. You can't search Facebook messages to get keywords. You can only search for people, and I can't remember the name of old mate from Dubbo in Western New South Wales who asked, would I sing the next song? And I'm going to sing it for you. It's another sad tale in some ways, but it also has the beauty of faith that's woven through it, the golden thread of faith. And look, I got it in a nutshell. Colin's stories are never short. I might take my glasses off, actually, if I can. Can you hear me without my glasses? Good. I went to the 50th anniversary of the building of the Snowy River scheme, a magnificent, epic construction, and in the Snowy Mountains, the hydroelectric scheme. And I sat in a very small gathering in Australia's highest town, which if this was a live concert, I would ask anyone to shout it out. But someone knows. I'm sure they're typing it right now. What is Australia's highest town? Yes, sir. Let's invent the person who got the right answer. Maryland, yes. Maryland from Mungandai. Yes. Cabramurra, correct. I'm stretching this story out, sorry. Anyway, I sat next to Gloria and Ken, Ken worked on the Snowy scheme as an engineer, and they still lived up at that stage up in the high country, and Gloria lived in the house in Cabramurra. There's virtually nothing there now, but lots of terraces that they built for all the houses, which were packed up and taken away when the Snowy was finished. And the houses, they didn't have street names, they were just numbered from 1 and so on. So they lived in house number 163. She told me the sad tale of what happened to them there, which is in this song. But one of the things she said when she told me about house number 163, she got a sparkle in her eye and she said it was 33 steps to the top of Australia. So this is a song for Gloria and Ken, and this song was played at Gloria's funeral, I found out, not 2 years ago, and she was a woman of faith. That's the golden thread, which I didn't realise at the time, but yeah, the God of comfort comforted her through that sad time that they had up there. This song tells a story. It's called House Number 163. House number 163, 33 steps to the top of Australia. Gloria and Ken were younger back when they lived in old 163. From all over the world, they were bundled together in old Cabramurra. It was in 51, they prayed for a son in old number 163. They were the women's women, they were the men among men. They were taming the rolling snowy blizzards came rolling in. Danger, adventure, beauty and wonder. She closes her eyes and can see the snow and the glow of house number 163. And we wept for that little one she carried within her, cold as the winter, held to her breast, and then laid to rest in front of old 163. They were the women's women, they were the men among men. They were taming the rolling snowy as the blizzards came rolling in. Adventure, beauty and wonder. She closes her eyes and can see the the snow and the glow of house number 163. This is something beautiful that happened every year. And they'd come back every year to house number 163. And something quite marvellous happened every spring, because all the bulbs and annuals that the workers planted in their gardens to sort of make the place a home, still there under the ground. And every spring, the whole mountainside bursts into colour, like a giant bouquet for Gloria and Ken. And every year the daffodils and daisies bloom again, dancing alpine monuments to Gloria and Ken, and that little life the snowy took from them. Got to know. 163. Gloria and Ken. All right, I need to put my specs on to see what we're up to down here. Ah, yes. Now, I'm going to... all right, straight in. I've seen my set list. I can take my glasses off. Plough on. Oh, let's just do it. Okay. Well, the man who invented the iPhone, I couldn't wait to see what he'd do next. With his little round glasses and joggers and his jeans and his black turtleneck. He was a visionary, a genius, an icon. Oh, those magical gadgets he made. He put a ding in the universe, and then he laid down in the grave. Will I be missed? What will they say? There's just a few who will notice that I've gone away. The noise of the living drowns out the dead. What they thought and they learned and they did and they said. Well, the sorrow blows by, tears will be gone, and I won't be missed for long. Well, just think for a moment of Caesar, big guy, you know. He ruled the empire of Rome. He was top of the stack till that knife in the back. And then Julius Caesar was gone. Well, sure, he got quite a few statues, it's true. And sure, we remember his name. But the big and the small, the one and the all, they'll come and they'll go just the same. Will we be missed? What will they say? There's just a few who'll notice that we've gone away. The noise of the living flowers that they sent start to wither, and the moss starts to grow on the stone. The living will get on with living, we hope, and the dead just leave us alone. I'm just a mist blowing away, born in the morning, live for a day. The body, the blood, the bread and the wine, taking and breaking this curse of the dying. Well, the sorrow will pass, the tears will be gone, and I won't be missed for long. I won't be missed for long. Yeah, look, I'm sorry, I'm singing a few songs about death tonight, but you know, I'm singing them with a smile though. Hopefully with the golden thread running through these songs. Okay, and now I think the fire needs a bit of stoking here, so bear with me. There it goes. And this is the very first time we get to use our fire pit, so thank you for joining me here. I should just check in with my with the comments too. Come on. That's the way. But, beautiful. All right. Oh, comment. I just got to be careful not to tap my toes because there's pebbles and it's crunchy. All right. If I do this, I think that's me looking at it again. I think I don't know whether that's now or not. Oh yeah, I think it is. In Burrill. Yes, condo. Jason's been to 2WEB. Legend. Breadbow. Helen. Hello. Breadbow Helen. You're kidding. Chris, are you seriously in Calvary? Oh, I thought you said Cabramurra. I got pretty excited for a second then. Thank you everyone for joining me. How to make a fire. Really, I just chuck stuff in there. It's called wood. Throw it on. Bingo. All right, excuse me. I just think, you know, well, it's not quite my birthday yet, but 55-year-old man reading an iPad, not much of a Facebook Live. Okay, put that down. My tea's gone cold too. But that's no problem. Now, a perfect moment to make my announcement. A short shout out. I want to say thank you to the Gospel Coalition Australia, who said, why don't you sing some of your songs from Calvary Road, Real Hope, and anything else you want to sing, and we could have a Fireside Facebook Live. Thank you to my friends at the Gospel Coalition, and they've made tonight possible. So thank you to them. And I'd encourage you to check out their website. It's great gospel. I'm reading this now. Great gospel-centered content. Just Google the Gospel Coalition Australia. The thing is, if you want to encounter some content from Christians who are really thinking about their faith and life and what's happening in the world around them, then I think that you would find the Gospel Coalition. If you Google the Gospel Coalition, and I always struggle to spell coalition, but anyway, Google seems to get me there. So, yeah, I think you'd appreciate what they have to, and you can subscribe to a newsletter and so forth. So, it's something that, yeah, great resource for all us. Now, I got the burp out of the way. I've read my announcement. I've sung Will I Be Missed. Ah, yes. Oh, okay. I want to sing a song, and I know that probably I would expect Rachel will be watching. And she's a friend, and I know she would be looking forward to this song about her mum. The we're all very different, aren't we? And that's so obvious. But when you've got a faith, a Christian faith, then you become part of a group called Christians. And but there's such an amazing variety of Christian people, and the way their singular faith in their one Saviour is expressed in life is really quite a marvellous and wonderful thing. And this is a song about a lady whose faith came out in her smile, and that's a beautiful thing. And her family learnt to laugh and smile, and they did it through incredible hardship and loss, even the loss of their mum. So this is a song for Heather, and it's called Faith Smiles. Faith smiles from a deep, deep place, starts at the heart and shapes the face. He deals with me according to his mercy, and I'll be home in a little while. Faith smiles. Faith smiles. Faith laughs with a love divine. Now faith laughs like a joyful child, safe, loved, undefiled. Wisdom knows the weight of pain and sadness, but heaven is its happy aftermath. Faith laughs. Faith laughs. Faith weeps at the mess of sin, real tears for the world we're in. Mercy leaves them overcome with wonder, moved by love so tender yet so deep. Faith weeps. Faith weeps. When faith became her story, her life was not her own. Jesus got the glory. Jesus called her home. She lived in grace. She ran the race. Well, that's faith. Real faith, it's real faith. Faith sings with a love divine, shines bright in the darkest time. They sang around her bed as she lay dying, believing she'd be welcomed by her King. Faith sings. Faith weeps. Faith laughs. Faith smiles. Faith smiles. I think some of the Ceylon family might be watching, so to them. And all right, I want to sing a song about my dad now, and this is a bit of a okay. All right, I think we can take glasses off for this one. It's a glasses off song. I always thought that I'd be singing a song about my dad. Lost him 4 years ago. 4. And Dad was a proud Englishman and a fine father, but not a man to make a fuss, certainly not a fuss about himself. And So I thought it'd be lovely to put him in a song, but it couldn't be a fussy song. It needed to be just his story. And one of the beautiful things about his story, I think, was that his very personal and private faith was like that fire there. Sometimes there's just a tiny spark. It started with a spark. And in his elderly years, when he was in an aged care facility and feeling cooped up and lonely and like his hands were tied behind his back, his legs just stopped working one night, and that was the end of that for Dad. And he was visited by the local minister, dear Jeremy, and Jeremy became his friend, showed interest in Dad, but he also brought the truth of the gospel, the truth that had been, I think, a spark, well, to me as his son, more a spark than a raging fire. And Jeremy just blew on the spark and said, "Come on, Keith, you know we're getting towards the end now. I think if ever there was a time to do business with God and let that little fire burn, I think now's the time." And it was quite beautiful heading to that aged care facility where some dear folk came in and led the people in singing of hymns. And it's the last time I heard my dad sing. He was drifting in and out of slumber, and then suddenly he burst out with 3 or 4 lines of this hymn, and then he slipped back into slumber again. And so I'm very grateful that Dad's funeral wasn't an ambiguous affair. It was a time to celebrate hope that shines bright in the darkest times. So this is Dad's story. You were born outside of Liverpool in England. The bank propelled your father left and right. You told us about your boarding school adventures, that magic world that lived in black and white. You turned 18 and enlisted in the Air Force to fly Horsa gliders over enemy lines. You never lost your wide-eyed joy of flying, and Hitler took that bullet just in time. Expectations placed you at the ledger, but the banker's life was never meant to be. Set you sail, you weathered Granddad's English aspirations, oh yeah, and they set you sail across the Irish Sea. You always had your chin up to the sky, stood up straight with self-respect and pride. You looked every single challenge in the eye, but the hardest thing you ever did was die. To Auntie Chris, you were more than just a nephew, treasured like the son she never bore. You stepped into the paper mill at Swiftbrook. In your coat and tie, you walked the factory floor. And when you went to Dr. Dugdale's with a toothache, you left there with a filling and a bride. I love that photo on the steps of Christchurch, GKB with Joan Margaret by his side. You always had your chin up to the sky, stood up straight with self-respect and pride, looked every single challenge in the eye, but the hardest thing you ever did was die. Come on, oh, 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 oh. family castle, until the mill boss sent you on your way. You bravely sailed the six of us to safety, from Southampton down into Port Phillip Bay. You were 41 when you set foot in Australia, resourceful and relentless and near broke. You've faced hardship like that acre of Lantana. You hacked it out by hand and sent it up in smoke. You always had your chin up to the sky, stood up straight with self-respect and pride. You looked every single challenge in the eye, but the hardest thing you ever did was die. Come on! Oh, 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 don't grow old, you'd always tell your grandkids. An ugly early whiff of Waterloo. Your life began the spiral into helpless, and this time there was nothing you could do. All the finest stories have a champion to step in when the darkest hours come. The Saviour came and bore you safely over the hardest thing you both had ever done. You always had your chin up to the sky, stood up straight with self-respect and pride. You looked every single challenge in the eye, but the hardest thing you ever did was die. You looked every single challenge in the eye, but the hardest thing you ever did was die. Dear old Dad. Alright, what have I got next? Yes, I love this. I love coming out of that song, which has hope. It's got the golden thread in it, no question about that. And we fly. Oh, I better just... Oh. Okay, be careful at the capo. Alright. Question. I've sung a few songs about death and dying, sorry. And the question is... well, that's a difficult, ugly, sad, miserable part of existence, isn't it? And the question is, if God stepped down into this world, where would you find him? Would you find him on Facebook, where we are now, with the most likes and the most hits and the most views and the most thumbs up? Would you find him on YouTube with the most followers and subscribers? Would he be in the palaces, in the castles, in the Houses of Parliament, in the White House? Would he be the popular guy, the prime time guy? Well, he has taken on flesh. That's what Christians believe. God stepped into this world, this broken world, this sick world. And you know where we found him? Walking down the road that I just sang about, that my dad walked down. The road to the end. The road we're all walking down. He would walk down that road. He did. Jesus walked that road. And that's what this song is about. Outside the camp, no one's cheering. You feel lonely and small. Out there no one needs reminding. You're stuck outside the city wall. life can dry up and blow away like that restless desert sand. Jesus, what do you think you're doing outside the camp? Outside the camp, you can smell it. Vultures picking at the bones. When the sky hints at the darkness, all the mockers run for home. Cast your lot and divide the spoils of this dying son of man. Jesus, what do you think you're doing outside the camp? Outside the camp, someone's laughing. It's a hideous disgrace, like a lamb led to the slaughter in this God-forsaken place. Hear the moans of the dying souls, they're begging for the end. Jesus, what do you think you're doing outside the camp? Outside the camp, see them coming. First a trickle, then a flow. They're hungry for forgiveness. Oh, they got nowhere else to go, nowhere else. Grace is never cheap or easy. It puts nails in hands. Jesus knew what he was doing outside the camp. Jesus knew what he was doing outside the camp. Holy suffering in that place. Oh, there's pain and there's disgrace, and there's everlasting grace outside the camp. Outside the camp. Outside the camp. Now, I should leave my glasses on so I don't have to stop between the songs. Ah, yes. Now, I wanted to sing this song. There's been a few portrait songs, and let me see, where does the capo go? That's very high for a capo. All right. Campfire seems like a perfect place, fireside, to sing this next song. And I just wanted to certainly, a Christian faith enables you to walk that Calvary road, the road, the inevitable road towards our own mortality. We're all reminded of that at the moment. But I also want to say that Jesus said, "I came that they might have life and have it abundantly, have it to the full." And so I think there's, pictures of that in the people I've sung about, for sure, and I certainly see it in the lives of Christian people. But I want to sing about a friend of mine who lives down on the south coast of New South Wales, and it's really a picture of a life blessed, a life lived with joy, and a life that enjoys simple things like riding horses and riding motorcycles and sitting around a fire like we are, sort of now, as the beautiful sounds of the siren bird call in the night. Ah, it's finished. Okay. All right. So this is a song for my friend Les. It's another request for the Fireside Songs, and he jokingly calls himself the Bishop of Burrill, but he's not a bishop. Well, not officially. going up into the mountains and up into the hills. He's gonna gather up the chestnut mare and let her take him where she will. He's gonna catch himself a fish or two and gather up some wood and sit beneath the messmates wondering how we ever got it so good. Somewhere out past Yadbro, out behind Tamil, in his iron bark cathedral rides the Bishop of Burrill. Out past Yadbro, the bush behind Tamil is ringing with the praises of the Bishop of Burrill. He's gonna do a lot of thinking and take a bit of space, maybe let a bit of angry weather put him in his place. And on a swag under the moonlight, by the flicker of a fire, he'll marvel at the majesty of the one who names the stars, and knows that somewhere out past Yadbro, out behind Tamil, in his iron bark cathedral rides the Bishop of Burrill. Out past Yadbro, the bush behind Tamil is ringing with the praises of the Bishop of Burrill. And on top of Caliana, he'll sing a simple prayer for the everlasting mercies of the God who put him there and who holds him in his care. Out past Yadbro, out behind Tamil, in his iron bark cathedral rides the Bishop of Burrill. Out past Yadbro, out behind Tamil, in his iron bark cathedral rides the Bishop of Burrill. And he goes, sing to the Lord, the Almighty, the King of creation. Oh, my soul, praise him, for he is my help and salvation. All ye who hear, now to his temple draw near, joining in glad adoration, out behind Tamil. Good old Les. Alright, pick down. Where will I put it? Put it there. Okay, little sip of tea. A quick sip of tea. I'm sorry I haven't been able to respond to comments, but I've got my iPad there, but it's sing songs. Yeah. But I'm very grateful for all of your encouragement, and thank you for joining me as I sing my I couldn't say it at the beginning and I still can't. My Fireside Songs. All right. What was I going to sing? Ah, yes. Actually, I do need that. if you like campfires and breathing in the salt air, if you like timber when it's worked by hand and you can tell, if you like taking risks and calling it the way you see it, truth that looks you in the eye and lays the whole lot right there on the line. You like Jesus, you like Jesus, he's as real as dusty feet and working hands. You like Jesus. Well, if you like leaders who'll stick up for the little guy, and if you hate make-believe religion that's all a big fat masquerade, if you like courage that can be strong as thunder but tender as a tear beside a brother's grave, you like Jesus, you like Jesus. He's as real as dusty feet and working hands. You like Jesus. Well, if you like honesty that top to bottom walks the line, if you like strangers who'll get down beside the wounded in the trenches and risk a bullet, and if you know your own heart's not going to cut it with a holy God, well, I'm with you, sister. I'm with you, brother. That's why I think we're onto something right here next to the fire singing this song. You like Jesus. You like Jesus. He's as real as dusty feet and working hands. You like Jesus. All right, now, don't think sandal guy. Don't think fluffy bar lambs, even doobar bar lambs. Don't think halos and blow-dried beards. He's no Nigel, no friends, begging everyone to be his mate. He's patient and he's merciful and he's really, really great. You like Jesus? He's everything he says he is. He's as real as linen in an empty tomb. You like Jesus? He's still living, you know. He's still getting down to business and still shooting straight and true. Still shooting straight and true. In fact, I think the big question is, what does Jesus think of you? Was a real birth in a real stable, in a real dusty Judean town, and a real mother nursed a precious baby, and a bunch of wide-eyed shepherds gathered round, and real angels sang glory, for real hope was born that day. I bet all I have on Jesus, I will throw myself on him, for the one who died a real death for real sin. I bet all I have on Jesus, and throughout eternity marvel at the real hope my Saviour won for me. It was a real life. He had real friends. He walked shoulder to shoulder with the lost. He wept real tears for the fallen ones, and he anguished over sin's dreadful cost. And on a real cross he cried, "Forgive them," as his real life drained away. I bet all I have on Jesus, I will throw myself on him. For the one who died a real death for real sin. I bet all I have on Jesus, and throughout eternity I will marvel at the real hope my Saviour won for me. I have real fears, I do real sin, and I hurt the ones I cherish and adore. But the real mercy of the true and living God sees the filthy fallen purchased and restored. And I cry, my God, oh, fill me with a heart completely yours. I bet all I have on Jesus, I will throw myself on him. For the one who died a real death for real sin. I bet all I have on Jesus, and throughout eternity I will marvel at the real hope my Saviour won. I will marvel at the real hope my Saviour won for me. The Saviour won it for me. There's a great song about what my Saviour won for me. It's an old song. And so many people know it. People of faith, people who don't have faith, people who are just still working it out. And yet it seems to still hold so much. But right at the heart of it is Jesus Christ, who said, I came to seek and to save the lost. Or the Son of Man, he said, speaking of himself, came not to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. You know what that is? Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious first did that grace appear. Yeah, I first believed. Through many dangers, toils and snares, we have already come. 'Tis grace that's brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise. And when we first begun, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Thank you for joining me at the fireside as the fire burns down, and the moon, got a full moon here, or pretty close to it tonight, as the moon rises in the sky. Very grateful for the chance to sing my songs out here is lovely, but also to sing my songs for you and with you, and I've got a feeling some of you may have been singing along to that song. The truth that Jesus brought is a song to sing along to. It's a song to throw your whole life and heart and soul into, and not by our own strength, but through the simple act of faith, belief. What a wonder. So thank you to those people who don't share my faith and who've joined me tonight to sing these songs. Thanks for hanging in if you've got this far. I don't know how long I've gone for, and maybe it's too long, but I appreciate everyone who's joined me, and because there's nothing more wonderful for a songwriter to have people listen to his songs. So thank you. I might leave this running a little bit so we can enjoy the fire, but that's all from Colin. I should look too at the comments. Thank you to everyone who's joined me, and from all over the shop, and in fact all over the world, which is quite wonderful too. So thank you. All right, it just feels like out here with the fire and everything to pull out an iPad. So maybe I should, because let's face it, I'm on Facebook and there's a microphone. All right, let's just have a look and say thank you to a few chums who've made it this far. Hey, Jen, thank you. Hey, it's hard to know what this is up to. It's me looking at it at the moment. Sue, boy, I've had so many people ask me for shout outs and I just can't remember them all. So I just want to shout out to everyone right now. Everyone who's having a birthday, everyone whose birthday is coming up, or everyone who's had a birthday or was even born, all of you. Big shout out from Colin. Good on you, Anna. Anna said just what I needed after a crazy evening with the kids. And I know there's lots of mums and dads it's been a challenge with kids at home. So press on. One child asleep, 2 to go, says Penelope. I know you can read these, but I'm seeing these for the first time. Whoa, Katie, thank you. Katie Lackman said, my kids said the nicest songs they've ever heard. Wow. And Jenny, thank you. Yeah, it was nice to finish with Amazing Grace, isn't it? Sing that outside. Great. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Sophie. Yeah, enjoy the fire with the family when the camera's off. Yeah, I think I will hang out of here for a little while. Rowan's birthday's in 2 days. Rowan, I've already done a shout out to birthdays. Hey, and of course our friends in the UK. Thank you. It's daytime there. Whoa, David Smith, a highlight for his wedding anniversary. Happy wedding anniversary. You know, I wonder if your wife's wedding anniversary is on the same day. That's very convenient, that if it is. Oh, yeah. Now, look, Jennifer's asked, would I sing Uncle Viv? I think I've got this idea of singing through my country albums. And now that I've done this, although if it's really cold, it mightn't be quite so nice. But fine for you. But so I'm thinking about doing that, and I'll just revisit those. Might be a nice thing to do in the isolation time. Thanks, Joanne. And they're sitting around their fire in the Blue Mountains tonight. Oh, that's great. Oh, good. And Maddie said he was watching the chords and now he can play them himself. Very good. And the Beckett family. God bless Australia. I agree. And Kate loves me, according to Jane. So that's lovely. Trudy, thank you. Kids were pressing on Mum, saying, press on, Mum. Thank you, Linda. I'm a bit of a firebug. I am. God bless you, Linda. And same time next week. Oh, come on. Hey, Verity Nicholson is a long-time member of the Whopping Carbuncle Club. That's old school. I should do an I Want My Mummy one too. So yeah, and only members of the Whopping Carbuncle Club or people who have birthdays can come. Yes, Peter Taylor mentioned, Les, the Bishop of Burrill had a big battle. He had massive fires down his way, and he was lucky to survive. And so, like many on the south coast of New South Wales. Kevin Brenda, are you watching? All the way from Kirrawee. Hi, Kevin Brenda. And whoa, it was watched in Japan, but it's Japanese characters, and I can't read them. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, this is lovely. I could just keep. Heidi said, set up a tip jar on PayPal. I nearly did, but a little bit like I'm sort of, yeah, apparently people are doing that. So good suggestion. Oh, look, and Kathy, thank you. They've been doing a puzzle. Is it a crossword? Can you share one of the clues? We can all see if we can get the answer. Although I think that's cheating. Great. Thank you, everyone. I will close this now. I'm going to enjoy the fire just for a minute in this quiet. I'm going to leave it running just for a tick because it's just nice and peaceful. So, God bless. Thank you, everyone, so much.